King of the Road.
Thanks for watching the King of the Road show. I'm Jim King. In this program, we're airing a half hour of King of the Road's best clips. But first, I want to tell you about some delicious home cooking being served up at Paul's Seafood Restaurant and Market, located on Highway 12 at FM 1136 in Mauriceville, Texas. For delicious catfish, fried oysters, crab cakes, po' boys, gumbo, and burgers, visit Paul's Seafood Restaurant and Market in Mauriceville. By the way, owner Paul Mallon has something special called shrimp soup that he invented, and you've really got to try it. It's large shrimp in a special white cream sauce, and it's out of this world. Remember, for some of the best seafood in Southeast Texas, visit Paul's Seafood Restaurant and Market, located on Highway 12 at FM 1136 in Mauriceville. As their motto states, they'll hook you up. Tell them King of the Road sent you. Now here comes the first segment of the program. It's part of our exclusive concert footage with Lone Star State legend Robert Earl Keen. Of course, famed Texas troubadour Robert Earl Keen has been a large Lone Star State favorite since first hitting the Austin music scene in the early 80s. His concerts are legendary, and over the years, the singer-songwriter has churned out timeless Texas tunes like Corpus Christi Bay, That Buckin' Song, and The Road Goes On Forever. Ride shotgun with me as we cruise back to Beaumont's Ford Arena to check out the legendary Robert Earl Keen.
One man has the power to take you behind the scenes. Jim King of the Road.
Jim King of the Road.
Standing out on Main Street across Mr. Blues, my faded leather jacket, my weathered brogan shoes. A chill north wind was blowing, the spring was coming on. As I wondered to myself, just how long I had been gone. So I strolled across on Main Street, walked down a flight of stairs, stepped into the hall and saw all my friends were there. A neon sign was flashing, welcome, come on in. Feels so good, feeling good again.
It's Robert Earl Keen. You went to Texas A&M, huh?
Yes, I did. Yeah.
I'm sorry, but
That's all right.
I went to
a roughneck ordering 4 beers.
I think we went. You were probably a few years before me, but I remember hearing a lot about you and Lyle Lovett in those days, and you guys actually were neighbors there in
We sure were.
College Station.
I've known Lyle since 1976.
Before any of us knew who he was.
Yeah, but he was always incredibly talented guy. You know, I mean, I guess one reason we hooked up is because of the music. You know, and we had some similar interests and things like that. But he was a lot further ahead of me as far as like really sitting down and writing songs. I'd written some songs, but he had some full-blown, tapes and stuff he made himself. I was just astounded, and a great singer.
So you guys used to play on the porch. In fact, you wrote a song called The Porch Song, and I wish I would have paid admission to be on that porch. But
We had some good times there, I mean, I don't... by and large, they weren't as wild as some people think they were. They were just fun,
There's always a little beer involved with that.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, but it wasn't crazy. I mean, there's a few crazy things, but it wasn't completely out of control. It was, we were just having a good time. This house was it was really funky and sort of broken down, and my rent was virtually nothing. So we lived off virtually nothing. I was there for 3 years before I ever got a phone. and the last day I was there, there had been this air conditioner that was sitting above my bed in my room, and we never even thought to plug it in because it was so busted up looking and stuff. Last day I was there, an old man came by and said, I used to live in this house. This is an old house. I said, yeah, I used to live in this house. Of course, we didn't have air conditioning back then, and I just decided not to even talk to him about that. So I let him walk through, and he walked off. I thought, you know what? I never checked out that air conditioning. So I got 2x4 and went over there and I propped that air conditioner up. I went back around to my room and I plugged it in. Boom! It just hummed. It blew out cold as air. It's just like a refrigerator.
And did you suffer before then? Or?
It was hot as hell at that house. I mean, there was no wind a lot of times there in the Brazos Valley, right? Mm-hmm. I couldn't believe I spent all my time there at College Station, no AC, and I had it right there above my head. So there's the true Aggie joke right there.
Well, was College Station kind of a hotbed for Texas country? Or Texas country really wasn't even a genre in that day, was it?
No, not really.
That's something that
that was, there's kind of a spin-off from what was happening in Austin in the early and mid '70s. The whole Willie Nelson and Greasy Wheels and Frida and the Fire Dogs and all these crazy bands that were running around. I mean, in the end, it's like Gary P. and Jerry Jeff and Willie were about the only ones that kind of made it out of the melee, but it was big at that time. And then when I moved to Austin in the early '80s, it was a whole blues scene. It was all about Stevie Ray. And
it was a great town then too, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was a fantastic town, but it was all about blues.
Yeah.
You couldn't find a country band.
I remember that it was like the Texas rock sound was really big, and there was one band I really liked back then. It was called the Skunks. Remember the Skunks?
Yeah, they were great, man.
They broke up. They were like one of my favorite. They were kind of a punk rock band.
Right.
I lived there too. There in the early '80s, and it was a great town. I left in '83, and then it just got huge.
King of the road.
It's the King of the Road show, and you're watching King of the Road's best clips. Run for governor once, and I think you are again in 2010.
Yeah, it ain't how you got knocked down, it's how you get back up. And very few people run for governor twice, but the ones who do win, and that's what I intend to do.
It's the King of the Road show, and coming up next, our interview with the legendary Kinky Friedman.